Hey gamers, Keith Mateka here from Thunderworks Games. I wanted to show you the new upcoming title from Thunderworks called Cartographers, a Role-Player Tale. You are a cartographer entering the land of Nalos you've been asked by the Queen to do some documenting and exploring the wildlands. And the Queen has edicts. So each round, there's 4 rounds in the game. Each round, you're going to score 2 different edicts. The first one, in the spring, you'll score A and B. And the amount of time that passes in spring is 8. And then in summer, we're going to score B and C. Then in fall, we'll score C and D. And then in the winter, we'll score D and A. So everyone gets a map sheet. You're given, the whole group decides to do one or two sides. There's the wildlands, the wilderness side, which is the A side, or there's the B side, which are the wastelands. And the difference is that there's this kind of big void in the middle of the map, which makes it a little bit more challenging. So the way the game works is everyone has their own map sheet. So it's important to put your name on it, and then if you want to draw a crest or put your family name down, or give yourself a title. Those are all options and kind of fun things to do. Then you gather your explore deck. So the explore deck tells you what you're drawing. Each round you're flipping these cards, and they're saying you're going to draw one of these 2 terrain types using this shape on your board, or it's telling you to draw this shape or this terrain type, this is farm, in one of these 2 shapes. And if you pick this one, you also get a coin, which is going to count for a point at the end of each round. And then there's these ruin cards. When these get flipped, then you flip an additional card. And this basically says that on your turn, when everyone's drawing, you have to draw the next shape on top of one of these ruin icons that are on the board or on your map sheet. And then there's also what are called ambush cards that get shuffled in each round. And they represent running into monsters. So when these get flipped, then in a multiplayer game, this says that you're going to pass your map to the player in counterclockwise direction. Some of them go in the other clockwise direction, and that player is going to draw this shape on your board and put the monster terrain on there, and then they pass your map back to you, which is going to generate some negative points for you at the end of the round. So what you're trying to do after you have these on your board is to cover up the adjacent spaces, because each adjacent space that is empty is worth a negative point at the end of each round. At the very beginning of the setup, and I've kind of already done this part, is that there are 4 different scoring types. There are village, there are forest, there's farm and water, and then there's kind of shape and pattern. And there's 4 of each one, and they get mixed up independently, and then one is randomly pulled from each set, and then you take that set of 4 cards and you shuffle those up, and then you place them down. So the idea is that every time you play, you're going to have a different set of kind of scoring conditions, and they're going to be in a different order. Without further ado, why don't we just get started, and I'll show you how it works. Beginning of the round, first person, somebody draws a card and places it so that everyone can see. And the Riftlands card says you can draw one of the 5 terrain types: forest, village, farm, water, or monster, anywhere you want on the board. Most of the time, you're not going to be picking the monster, but there are some cards that actually would where it might make some sense. So I'm just going to put in the bottom left-hand corner of my board, I'm just going to put a forest piece. So I know that's at least going to give me 3 points because of this card. So this card says you get 3 points for every diagonal line that's unbroken, that touches the bottom and the left side. This is the pattern card. This one says for every cluster of villages that are 6 or larger group is worth 8 points. So you want a bunch of bigger cities. This one says each 4 space that all 4 sides or the edge is filled, and that's a point. So in this example, this one isn't worth a point because this one's not filled. But this one is an example. This one is worth a point because we've got a mountain, a forest, and the edge of the map. So that one's worth a point. And then the canal lake says each farm space next to a water space is worth 1 point, and every water space next to a farm space is worth 1 point. So this one is an easy 3 points here. I'm not sure what else to do, so I'll just go ahead and grab this space in the corner, and we'll make it a forest space. So this counted 0 time against the 8 that we need before the round ends. And the next card comes up. The treetop village says farm or forest using that shape. 1, 2, over, 1, 2. Yeah. You can meaning rotate or flip them as needed. We're gonna make this a village space. So we're gonna put little huts in there. Total 5. So two time has passed. Now the fishing village comes out. We can do a 4-space kind of line with either water or village. Since I'm looking for at least a minimum of 6 village spaces, and I'm at 5, I kind of want to do at another village here. So I'll do 1, 2, 3, 4 right here. I'll make these village spaces. And then we've got the Forgotten Forest. So this is the 5th time. I can do a woods. I'm going to actually put this right here and right here. So I'm using this, I'm taking that option. I'm gonna put trees there to indicate that it's a forest. And then I get to take the coin. Another way to get coins in the game is if you cover the 4 sides of any of these mountain spaces, you also get a coin for that. So I've kind of knocked this diagonal out for this card, and I'm halfway to finishing this this mountain, and I got a coin for the selection. So that worked out well. And then this is time number 6, the Great River. So water is looking to be next to farms. I don't have any farms on my board yet, but by covering this space that has forest over here, that's gonna help me on the tree tower card. So I'm just gonna go 3 straight up, and we're gonna do water on that. And then I took the smaller shape, so I get a coin for that. I'm also close to finishing mining that particular mountain. So now we're at 2, 4, 6, 7, 8. So this is gonna be the last card of the round. If I were to do the village terrain, I'd want to start a new one, I think. But instead, I'm gonna do forward thinking and go with the farm. And I'm gonna finish off all 4 sides of this mountain. So we're gonna fill that in with farm. This I marked to indicate that I remembered to actually mark this down. So now I have 3 coins, so that one's been mined. That's the end of the round, and we are going to score. If the ambush card is shuffled in at the beginning of the game, and if it doesn't come out, it doesn't come out. And you always just add another one at the beginning of each round, so then future rounds could potentially have 2 or even 3 or 4 enemies show up, or monsters show up in one turn, or in one round. So let's just do scoring. So at the bottom of the sheet, it shows you you're scoring A, which is this card, A. Diagonals, 3 points for each completed diagonal. So this is 3, 6, 9, 12. This one's not. So I get 12 points for A. And then B, 8 points for every grouping of villages that's 6 or larger. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that qualifies, 8 points for that. I get a point for each coin, so I get 3 points for that, and no negative for the monsters. So that's going to be 23 points for the round. So the spring card goes away. Now we know next round we're going to score B and C. These cards go into the Explore deck. I was right. We got an ambush card. So usually in a multiplayer game, what would happen is that I would pass this to my neighbor clockwise, as indicated by the arrow, and then I would draw this shape using the monster terrain, which is going to cause them to get negative points at the end of the round if they ignore it. But in a single player game, what you do is you look in the upper right hand corner and look at that symbol, and it says the upper right hand quadrant of that is purple. So that tells me that I have to draw this shape in this corner of the board. If it was full or I couldn't fit it, then you go around the outside of the board until you can. And if you still can't fit it, then you come in a space and then you try it again, and you come in another space and then you try it again, and eventually you'll find a place to place it. And in the rare instance in which you cannot, then you don't have to put one down, which is nice. So anyway, I'm drawing these little monsters' faces with horns and a smile, just because they're happy bugbears. So this is gonna be right now. This is with negative 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points, unless I put something in those spaces, because every adjacent open empty space that's not filled is worth a point. So like this one is adjacent to 2 of them, but it's only worth negative 1. Like one space can't be worth more than 1 negative point. So bugbear goes away, we flip another card, and it's the ruin. So then we gotta put another one on top of that says we have to place this one, whichever terrain we choose, it has to go on top of one of these ruins. So I mean, we just got these these monster terrains, so we might as well try to do something about that. I'm going to say, let's do farm. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know why I'm counting these. So that's farmland. So I saved myself negative 2 points, and I'm next to the mountain, so that's going to help me hopefully down the road. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the end of summer. Last card, it is 2, 3, 4, 5, no, 6. Yeah, that hits the minimum, yeah. And then I gotta draw this piece. So if you can't draw it, like if there's no space for it, then you just draw you draw 1 by 1 square wherever you want. Now there's a place to place this one. It's just not particularly helpful. So I'm just gonna go here. It's gonna give me a couple points. Points are good. All right, so that's the end of the game. We're gonna score D real quick. D says every farm next to a water, every water next to a farm. So 15. And then A is this one diagonal. So I've got a bunch of those. So 15 minus 4 is 11 plus 9 is 20. 20 plus 18 is 38. Then I'm gonna add up my scores for the rounds to get my final score. 103 is my final score. So that is my map that I made in Cartographer's Day. Thanks for checking it out, you guys. If you have any questions, obviously feel free to reach out. I'm super excited and I hope you are too. Thanks, bye-bye.